Hello, I'm back again with another video, and this time I wanted to show you a match that I played as the Fallen Kingdom against the Savanna Elves. And this is a match that I played in the Plaid Hat Games official tournament. This the second one they've held with the release of the Avians and the Cloaks, and this was from round one of that tournament. So I thought it would be interesting to go over some of the more exciting matches that I played throughout the tournament, and just do some review on them and see what we find. Okay, let's kick it off. So it looks like, oh, Savanna Elves get the starting move here. And this is an interesting first move. We already see the Spirit Mage come out to boost the Summoner Abuashi. And I kind of feel like maybe it'd be better to use Abuashi to boost the Lioness and kind of increase the survivability of that Lioness to begin with. It maybe seems unnecessary to summon a Spirit Mage here because you already have like 3 good movements. And we also see a gate in a good position right at the start too. That's a very like a confrontational gate to begin with. Pretty common as Savanna Elves. And it's pretty tough to deal with as the Fallen Kingdom because it's really a gate that's fighting for kind of central control, and as Fallen Kingdom you're kind of having to be fighting from the back 2 rows here pretty much for the whole game when this happens. So yeah, I like that. Okay, let's carry on. Let's see if he destroys all my units, which that's a good start. And down goes my archer too. And I have an interesting starting hand here. I've already got 2 cultists with purge, and the cultist purge combo is really strong. So I can't really ask for much more than this from a purge, like getting 6 automatic damage. So I feel like it's pretty irresistible not to do that. And meanwhile, I'm also boosting up that warrior's attack here too, which is always nice. And with that warrior getting boosted, like he even has the potential of taking out that gate to begin with. So yeah, I thought that this was like a pretty good first turn at getting the momentum going and get my offense started. Okay, I place a gate here on the right. I guess that's normally where I put it as Fallen Kingdom. It just kind of bolsters your offense here. And then you can use Raise the Dead to like summon units on the left side, bring up units on the left, and but ideally, like the dream situation, dream gate for me is like getting it. I'm gonna put my cursor here on B4, and like getting a gate on the 4th row is like the ideal setup, I feel like. But reaching that position is not always easy, especially against the Savanna Elves. Dealing with that rhino and the rhino having the ability to hit your summoner so easily is pretty hard to deal with. But that's what I'm going for, but I never know if I'm gonna reach it there. It's pretty big there on the gate, which is unfortunate. I feel like, yeah, definitely would have changed the dynamic of the match a lot without that gate there. And we see what looks okay. It looks like he put a lot of boosts on the rhino, and yeah, the rhino's scary with boost. Already he's within range of hitting my summoner, so that's a little terrifying. And yeah, so he also decided not to boost the lioness again, but yeah, in this case it's actually probably fine because the rhino is almost too big of a threat. Like he's like the ultimate distraction. Like you kind of just have to deal with the rhino. Maybe there's a way I can kill the lioness, but like you just cannot ignore the rhino sometimes. So yeah, that's kind of why this works. So I think what I do here is I go pretty hard on the rhino. I try everything I can to kill it, and I pretty much do that because like, all right, I guess you could go after the Spirit Mage and the Lioness and try to kill both, but the thing I don't like about that move is that your units are kind of away from your gates then, and I really like to keep more of a tight formation near my gates so I can kind of properly reinforce them when they die. And yeah, I don't know. Ignoring the rhino is always just kind of just too dangerous, I feel like. And I dropped a gate on the left side there, and that's basically just to like reinforce and summon on the left side if I need to, so that I can attack from both directions. And I said ideally I wanted the gate one space higher than that, but on the fourth row. But at this point, I feel like it's going to be very difficult if I could even ever reach that spot. Like, it's just something you kind of can sense if you've played the matchup enough. So yeah, I've just settled the gate should be there instead. I missed pretty big on the rhino. I think the archer only hit one out of 3, cultist 0 out of 2, so that wasn't so good. Now, I was kind of surprised here he didn't go after my summoner with the rhino, just to get the 2 hits in and reduce the number of units I could raise from the dead. Looks like instead he's going after the warrior, which I think it'd be fine if the warrior would die, but since the warrior's not gonna die, like, I feel like maybe going after Rhett would be better. But one thing I am noticing is that I've been playing pretty low magic this game so far, and I think that's because I've drawn a lot of warriors early, and like I value holding onto the warriors in your hand pretty highly with Fallen Kingdom. Like generally I'm going to be letting go of the undead archer instead, like, because like the archer doesn't give you as good a value normally, but the archer is good in certain situations, so I think it's very situational. But yeah, that's why you'll see I'm kind of riding this one low magic here so far. And now you're going to get to see the real value of Raise the Dead, and like raising a warrior from the dead is really ideally what you want to be doing if you can, like if the warrior's in range to hit something. And so yeah, now this warrior kills the rhino, which boosts the other warrior's attack. So yeah, to really get a lot of value out of Raise the Dead, you want to raise a lot of warriors, and you kind of hope to draw a warrior early in your deck so you can get one in the discard pile. And yeah, I think that's kind of one of the keys to winning with the Fallen Kingdom, is to raise a lot of warriors from the dead. I guess the hard part is that like a lot of times you have no choice but to raise an archer from the dead to be in the fight. But like, I guess a trick is to find ways to put yourselves in positions to get a warrior involved instead of an archer. But yeah, that's one of the challenges of using this team, I think. Okay, I discarded a carrier there only because like against a lot of factions I'll hold on to that carrier. But against Savanna Elves and like the high health factions, like it's just so hard to summon a carrier and then like infect something else by killing it. Like, so sometimes it's just better off in your discard for that reason. Okay, I decided to use Purge this turn, and yeah, I know my summoner's getting at low health here, so like I kind of want to get a pyre soon so I can get some health back. And like sometimes you want to wait to use Purge until you draw the pyre, but I guess I'm at so low health here that I kind of feel like I need to cycle through my hand and start drawing some cards to draw a pyre soon too. Alright, we get some good infections going with the carriers. Luckily, that carrier with the Hellforged weapon is still alive with 2 health even. That's pretty lucky. I also just discarded the blood summon just to afford Dragos, and also to cycle through my hand faster to draw the pyre, which luckily I just did here. Looks like. Okay, my opponent gets an entangle on the Spirit Mage and the Border Archer here, and Enchanted Power as well. So I love this combo. This is a good opportunity to talk about this combo. For some reason it doesn't happen in my own games a lot, but like I know how powerful it is because I've seen a lot of people do it against me. And like, what's interesting is that like if you really work out, if you kind of work out the math and you see how little resources like you're spending on boosts in order to do all this damage. Like it's actually pretty impressive, and it seems to be one of the strongest combos of entangle and chance of power, I feel like, in terms of like how much return you get for the cost. But yeah, I love that combo. So yeah, that turn hurt. Like, pretty much almost wiped the board there, and now it's gonna hurt for me trying to get a good pyre going now because I have less units on the board. Yeah, okay, that's interesting too. I put a gate down. I got like a wall of gates here, defending against any potential rhino invaders in future turns. That's just more me improvising. And, that's one of the advantages Savanna Elves have in this matchup is that they kind of force you to spend some extra resources on blocking things. So that makes this matchup a little harder than usual. And I didn't think it was too bad here because I'm not going to be able to raise the dead much more because my pyre is not going to be huge here. So I can't really use that lane in the near future anyway. So I didn't think it was horrible, but yeah, I guess we'll see how that plays out in the future. Oh, there's an interesting roll. Yeah, I rolled for 6, got no specials, so the warrior didn't suicide like I planned him to. So now, which would have boosted this other warrior's attack, and he missed too. So yeah, that ends up being a pretty bad pyre turn. Like you really want to get like 2 kills at least for some decent returns on the pyre. But yeah, now it's not great. Okay, let's see how he responds. Barely gets that kill. That would have been ugly if he missed. Okay, now... Oh, okay, this archer misses big. And misses big again. Well, I guess at first it seems bad, but since that was my pyre turn, it's not all that bad that he didn't get a kill. Now I can't raise from the dead one extra time, so it's not a huge deal either way there, I guess. Alright, now I remember this being a really weird blood summon turn. Like you just saw, I just blood summoned off of an archer that I just summoned, which that's definitely losing value, but at the same time I think I'm just trying to get some big kills here. So it's like I'm trading value to get some very valuable kills. So yeah, it's a kind of a weird turn. And then I also kind of position my summoner in a way that I can't be a rhino can't trample through everything. I do this a lot against Savanna Elves at a certain point. Like I'll just put my summoner right behind a line of units, like so that I can't be invaded. Okay, now in order for this to pay off, I feel like I really need to get these warrior kills, because we'll see. 5 for 5, great kill. And we didn't kill the lioness. That was pretty bad for me. I feel like if I got that kill, I would have been in pretty decent position. But yeah, that changes things for sure. Because now that lioness is gonna have, just start accumulating more life here even. Okay, now the lioness misses the warrior, which is pretty important now. Now I got a couple nicely boosted warriors still alive. So I feel like I'm still in this. Maybe I can get a good pyre going here. That's a horrible miss. 1 for melee. Yeah, that's gonna hurt, especially I was counting on that for the pyre. So yeah, yet again, not a great pyre turn, so things aren't looking too great. And also he has like a rhino has 3 boosts, so that's so dangerous for my summoner. I can't afford to open any spots. He's just getting all sorts of tramples with entangling this rhino and lioness. Yeah, the entangling of a rhino and a lioness that both have like a good amount of boosts, that's, I don't know, maybe the best entanglement. So like I feel like that's my go-to entanglement, a lioness and a rhino with boosts, and they just do so much damage. And especially love that the rhino gets like extra health from copying the lioness's ability temporarily. Yeah, just a really great entangle combo. I guess on the upside, at least this is happening during my pyre turn, so I'm at least getting some value back from all these units dying. Just wiped the board clean here. Really good turn for my opponent there. Yeah, I'm left with at least I'm left with like an odd number on Reptalis. That's kind of what you want to go for, is to end up with an odd number of health as high as you can go, so you can raise the dead as many times as possible. I'm also getting a little bit worried that he has a champion at this point. He hasn't summoned one. He's got the magic for it now, so that worries me. Of course, I'm also trying to go for Dragos here, I'm sure. And the cool thing here is that if I kill this lioness with the carrier and infect it, like because of the entanglement, the rhino's going to go down to 1 HP, and I can get another carrier infect going. Nice little chain. And it looks like it happens. Okay, I build enough magic to get Dragos the next turn, and okay, now this was a really interesting turn for my opponent. Like, I was not expecting this at all, where he's really wrapping around with the Spirit Mage and the Rhino trying to come at my summoner from the backside. This is kind of hard to deal with because the Rhino's only a couple turns away from reaching me potentially, and I kind of have to spend extra resources now to block from both directions. So yeah, that was a creative move, I thought. And I remember I was pretty happy to have Dragos here, because that's like probably one of the only things I could have that could have even ended the Rhino's life here potentially. With activating Dragos's ability, I think maybe I have like an 80% chance of killing it. So yeah, pretty good chances here. Okay, I get the kill on the Rhino, and I do remember this moment where like I had a decision to either keep the archer there or teleport it in front of Dragos to block, and I decided to teleport it in front of Dragos as like a blocker instead of attacking a Buashi. And the reason I did that is because like I feel like if I attack a Buashi here and my archer dies the next turn, I don't really have any way of retaliating. So like I feel like it's very important just to have ways of retaliating. Like every unit's so important here. Like I just need to make sure that Dragos can like punish anytime a unit dies, basically. So yeah, now we're getting down to the really critical endgame stuff here. That Spirit Mage down there is wrapping around, still coming at my summoner, and yeah, he's just going hard on my summoner here. Like, and my other units are far away from the action. Oh yeah, that was a huge miss on the Spirit Mage. 0 for 2. So there's kind of it's getting dangerous in some ways that Spirit Mage could potentially kill my summoner, because if that Spirit Mage kills the carrier, I have a very good chance of losing this game. So yeah, that was a big worry. And I remember thinking at this point, like, I needed to focus most of my units in the front against a Buashi, and like I couldn't really afford to put too many resources back in defending my summoner. So yeah, like I'll need every unit I can against a Buashi. Like, he can one shot most of my units, so except Dragos. So yeah, it's getting down to the really close end game here. Oh, I got a nice little soul shift here to get some damage on the summoner. Yeah, now he brings the Spirit Mage in even closer to mine. So things are getting really scary. And if he kills my carrier here, I'm in some trouble. But he doesn't. Yeah, now I've got some decent chances of killing the Spirit Mage. But if I don't, yeah, it could be game over for me. Luckily, I just barely do. And, let's see. Oh yeah. So this position, I remember this was the hardest decision of the game, whether or not to attack this gate. So I decided to take this gate down, and like I was using it for cover. So like taking the gate down is also kind of bad because now he can attack my champion for free, with Abua and whatever else he has in his hand. So I was really actually just terrified that he had a champion at this point because he has 5 magic, and he hasn't summoned one. And so what's interesting is if he has Midi Kairu, he would win this game if that gate was if that gate's still there the next turn. So like he could summon Midi Kairu on the right, and Midi Kairu essentially can like move 4 spaces with his ability and just come straight at my summoner, and I have no way of running away from him at that point. Like I think he could just chase me down and I couldn't stop it, was what I was seeing. So the problem is that what I realized later is that even if I take down this gate and he has Midi Kairu, like he's still very likely to win this game. I think he's still very much favored because he'll just hit Dragos with Midi Kairu and Abuashi anyway, and it'd be very hard for me to win still. So I should have thought about this some more, and like now I realize I should have just kept the gate up, and if he has Midi Kairu, I lose, whatever. And I should just kind of hope for the best there because with the gate there, it at least offers me some protection. He summons nothing, so yeah, I guess he has no champions, no units left in hand. Must have like a chance power, an event he can't use or something. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure with like some sort of unit, he was probably favored to win this game. But yeah, I mean, if he kills Dragos here, like he's still got a decent chance, and he does get the kill. So yeah, I mean, if I don't end this in like a couple hits, like I could lose this because, you know, Red Talus is too far from the action to do anything. Oh, and I go for the infect on the archer to double attack Abuashi for the kill, and I get it. Exciting finish. I really hope you enjoyed watching that game. Thank you for watching.